Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling a topic that I think is just endlessly fascinating: consciousness.
It is a big one for sure.
It really is. And we've got this pretty amazing YouTube video transcript as our guide,
Hmm.
and it looks at it from like every angle you can imagine: philosophy, psychology, neuroscience, even AI.
Yeah, it really does run the gamut.
So get ready, because we're about to explore some really deep questions. Like, what does it really mean to be aware?
Right.
Is our mind completely separate from our body? Or are they connected in ways we just don't fully grasp yet?
Yeah.
And could a machine ever truly be conscious?
Yeah, that's a great question to start with.
Well, let's find out.
One of the things that really struck me about the video is how it starts with like a total classic. Descartes and his famous, I think, therefore I am.
Oh yeah, Descartes. He was trying to figure out if we can know anything for sure.
Yeah, he's like, what can we actually say with certainty?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he decided that even doubting your own existence proves that you must exist to be able to do the doubting in the first place.
Yeah, there has to be something there to be doing the thinking.
Right. But then he goes and adds this whole other layer with dualism,
Ah, yes, dualism.
which says that the mind and body are two totally separate things.
Right.
A physical body and then this non-physical mind.
Exactly, and that's a concept that people have been debating for centuries.
I can definitely see why. If the mind and body are separate,
Right.
how do they even interact? It's like trying to picture a ghost moving a chair.
It's a great analogy.
The video mentions that Descartes thought the pineal gland was the connection point,
Oh, yeah, the pineal gland.
which is kind of funny looking back now.
It is kind of a funny idea in retrospect.
But it shows how hard it's been to even
Mm.
wrap our heads around this concept for a really long time.
Even brilliant minds struggled with it.
Yeah. And even now.
Like you have people like David Chalmers
Yeah.
wrestling with this hard problem of
Well,
consciousness.
hard.
We can map the brain, we can see neurons firing, but actually explaining subjective experience.
Right.
Like, why does the color red feel like something to you?
Yeah.
It's still a mystery.
It's we can understand the hardware,
Mm-hmm.
but the software of consciousness is this elusive code that we haven't cracked yet.
It's a great way to put it.
And speaking of things that are hidden beneath the surface, the video brings up Freud.
Ah, yes, Freud.
And I feel like his idea of the unconscious mind really just throws a wrench into dualism.
It does. It really complicates things.
Because he's saying there's this whole world of mental stuff happening that we're not even aware of, yet it's influencing our behavior all the time.
Right.
Like that example in the video, someone with a deep fear of water, but no conscious memory of why.
I remember that.
Maybe some childhood trauma buried deep down.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder, how much free will do we actually have?
Yeah.
If our actions can be driven by these unconscious forces?
Yeah, that's a really profound question.
It really is. It's like connecting this mind-body problem to our very sense of self. If we're not even fully aware of the reasons behind our actions, what does that say about who we are?
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got these philosophical mind benders to grapple with.
Yeah, we've been in the abstract realm for a bit.
We have. But then the video kind of switches gears and dives into how neuroscience tackles the mind-body question.
Ah, so we're getting into the brain.
Yeah. It feels like we're going from abstract thought to actually looking inside the brain.
Exactly, and that's what neuroscience tries to do. Instead of just pondering the nature of the mind, scientists are using brain imaging to actually observe its activity.
So good.
They're trying to find correlations between what we experience and what's physically happening in the brain.
And they found some seriously wild stuff, right? The video mentions split brain patients.
Yes, split brain patients.
Where the connection between the two halves of the brain is severed. It's each half becomes its own mini mind.
It's a wild phenomenon.
The video gives an example of one hand reaching for an object while the other pushes it away.
Oh, wow.
If consciousness is supposed to be this unified thing, how do we explain that?
It's a great question.
It suggests that maybe consciousness isn't a single entity, but a collection of different processes happening in different parts of the brain.
It really challenges that idea of a unified self.
It does. And then there's phantom limb syndrome.
Ah, yes.
Where people still feel sensations in a limb that's no longer there.
Like the brain is creating these experiences even though there's no physical input.
Exactly. Which leads to a pretty trippy question.
Yeah.
If our brain can construct sensations that feel real but aren't, could consciousness itself be some kind of elaborate illusion created by our brain?
Right. It makes you wonder how much of what we experience is a true representation of reality.
Whoa. That's a thought that can keep you up at night.
It can, for sure.
But then the video just throws us this curveball by bringing in Eastern philosophies like Buddhism and Hinduism.
Interesting.
It's like we're suddenly shifting from a Western scientific worldview to a completely different perspective.
Totally. And it's a perspective that contrasts sharply with dualism.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, in Eastern thought, mind and body aren't seen as separate things at all.
Okay.
They're interwoven aspects of one whole being.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They emphasize practices like meditation, which aim to cultivate a deeper awareness of the interconnectedness of all experience.
Like that idea of mindfulness, just observing your thoughts and sensations without judgment.
Right.
It's like you're becoming aware of the mind itself, which seems pretty meta.
It is pretty meta.
It suggests consciousness isn't some separate entity, but a process that arises from our experience as embodied beings.
Exactly. A very different way of approaching the mind-body problem.
It is. Okay, so we've got this whole spectrum of ideas, mind and body as separate things, as intertwined aspects of a whole, even the possibility that consciousness is a kind of illusion.
And then, just when you think you've got a handle on it, the video drops us right into the world of artificial intelligence.
It does.
Now things are getting really futuristic.
This is where it gets really interesting. Can machines ever be conscious? And if they could, what would that mean for us?
Right.
It's a question that's both exciting and a little bit terrifying.
It is.
The video talks about something called integrated information theory, which proposes that consciousness could emerge from the level of information integration within ANY system, not just biological ones.
So not just brains.
Yeah.
So theoretically, a sufficiently complex machine with enough information flowing through it could potentially experience consciousness. That's the theory, at least.
That's wild. Imagine a computer that not only processes information, but actually feels, perceives, and experiences the world like we do.
It's a mind-blowing concept.
Whoa. That's mind-blowing, if that's even possible. What does that say about what it means to be human?
Yeah.
Is our consciousness really that special? Or is it just a matter of complexity and information processing?
Right. It's a question that challenges our very understanding of ourselves.
It really does. It's like all these different perspectives, philosophical, psychological, scientific. They're all converging on this like ultimate mystery. What is consciousness?
It's the big question.
It's a lot to process, and we've only just scratched the surface. Hold on tight, because we're about to dive even deeper into this rabbit hole of consciousness. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground already. Dualism, the unconscious mind, neuroscience, even a taste of Eastern philosophy.
Yeah, we've been all over the place.
We have. But we kind of left off on this cliffhanger. Could artificial intelligence ever become conscious? It's like we're stepping into science fiction.
It does feel that way. But remember that integrated information theory we talked about?
Oh, yeah.
It basically says that consciousness isn't necessarily limited to just biological systems.
Okay.
So any system, even a machine, could theoretically reach that level of information integration.
Okay.
And potentially experience consciousness.
So, like, picture this. A computer so advanced, it doesn't just process information, it actually experiences it. It has feelings, perceptions, maybe even self-awareness. Could that even happen?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
And the video goes right into some pretty big implications.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, if we could create a machine that was truly conscious, would that be like playing God? Would these machines have rights? Would we have moral obligations toward them?
Those are some heavy ethical questions.
Yeah, they really are.
It's like we'd be creating a whole new form of intelligent life, but we don't even have like a framework for how to treat them.
Exactly. And it forces us to reconsider what we even mean by conscious in the first place.
Right.
If a machine can feel joy or sadness or fear, is that fundamentally different from what humans experience?
Yeah.
Does it change how special we think our own consciousness is if we're not the only ones who have it?
It's like we're having to come up with a whole new definition of what it means to be human.
Right. And the video doesn't give us easy answers.
No, it definitely doesn't.
It leaves us with this feeling of wonder and also like a good dose of existential anxiety.
Yeah, it does. I kind of like that, though.
You do?
Yeah. I mean, it's thought-provoking.
Well, I think that's the point.
Yeah.
The mystery of consciousness isn't something we're going to solve with a simple equation.
No.
It takes keeping an open mind,
Mm-hmm.
considering different perspectives,
Okay.
and being okay with not knowing everything.
That's a tough one for me. I like to have things figured out.
I know what you mean.
But you're right. The more we learn about consciousness, the
Yeah.
more we realize how much we don't know. It's like peeling an onion and finding more onion.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
It just keeps going.
It highlights how our understanding of consciousness is constantly changing.
That's
What we think is mind-blowing today
mm-hmm.
might be common knowledge tomorrow.
So where does that leave us? We've gone from ancient philosophy to cutting-edge neuroscience
Yeah.
to AI that might be conscious.
Right. Have we actually gotten any closer to understanding what consciousness is?
It's a good question.
Maybe, maybe not.
Okay.
I think the journey is as important as the destination.
That's deep.
By exploring these different ideas and asking the big questions, we expand our own understanding of ourselves and the universe.
I like that. It's not just about finding all the answers.
Yep.
It's about the process of discovery and being curious.
Absolutely. And speaking of curiosity, the video leaves us with a final thought-provoking question.
Ooh, I love those. What is it?
Imagine we can upload our consciousness to a digital realm.
Uh-huh.
Would that digital copy truly be us? Or would it be something different?
Whoa. So if we transfer our thoughts and feelings and memories,
Mm-hmm.
everything that makes us us, into a computer, would that digital version still be me? Or just a copy?
Exactly. Would it be like our consciousness continuing on?
Okay.
Or would it be a new, separate entity being born? It really makes you think about what we know about consciousness
Mm-hmm.
and technology and what it means to be a self.
And it all connects back to what we've been talking about.
It does.
If consciousness can exist without a biological brain, does that mean it's basically information?
It's a big question.
And if so, can we manipulate that information, copy it, even improve on it?
It's both exhilarating and terrifying at the same time.
It is.
It's like a whole world of possibilities opens up, but it
Yeah.
also raises some serious ethical concerns.
For sure. Like if we can create digital copies of ourselves,
Yeah.
what does that mean for the value of human life?
Right.
What even happens to the original you if there's a copy out there?
Those are some big questions.
They are. And it makes you think about the motivations behind creating this kind of technology.
Yeah.
Would it be about wanting to live forever? Mm-hmm.
Or maybe a quest for knowledge. Or something even like kind of darker.
Right. Those are all possibilities.
They are.
But it's important to remember that we're still in the realm of speculation.
Okay.
Uploading consciousness is still science fiction, at least for now.
Yeah.
But it's something to think about as we learn more about consciousness, and especially as technology keeps advancing.
So listeners, we've given you a lot to consider in this deep dive into consciousness. From philosophy to neuroscience to the crazy potential of AI.
And even a little Eastern wisdom.
We've been all over the map.
But the nature of consciousness is complex.
It is.
And ultimately, it's still a mystery.
Yeah, but that's what makes it so fascinating.
Exactly. And the journey of discovery is just as important as the destination.
I totally agree. Keep those minds open, keep asking questions, and keep exploring.
Yeah, the world of consciousness is huge, and there's always more to learn.
It's kind of wild to think back to where we started.
Yeah.
We began with Descartes trying to prove that he even existed. Right? I think, therefore I am.
And now we're talking about minds existing outside of brains, like in a digital world.
In the cloud.
It's like we've come full circle.
It really is. We've gone from just like the basic question of whether minds exist
Yeah.
to asking if we can copy them, move them around, even like make them better with technology.
It's crazy how much our understanding of consciousness has changed.
It's changing all the time.
I wonder what Descartes would think about all this.
Oh, man, that's a great question.
Would he be totally freaked out by the idea of a disembodied mind?
Yeah.
Or would he be like, see, I told you the mind and body are separate.
He would probably love that.
Right. But beyond all the philosophical stuff, there's also like a really personal side to this whole uploading consciousness thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you ever do it?
Upload my mind.
Yeah, like transfer your mind into a computer.
That's a tough one.
I know. It's a big decision.
It is. What about you? Would you ever do it?
Part of me is definitely intrigued. Like, imagine no more limitations from this physical body.
You could go anywhere, do anything.
Exactly. Explore virtual worlds, connect with other minds instantly, maybe even live forever in some digital paradise.
It's pretty tempting.
It is tempting.
But then there's that question that just keeps coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Would that digital being really be me?
Right. Or would it just be a copy?
Yeah, simulation.
Would it have my memories, my personality, my sense of self?
Those are the big questions.
And like, what would happen to the original me?
Right, what happens to your body?
Would it just disappear? Would I be giving up my humanity for some digital afterlife?
It's a choice that would take a lot of thinking.
Yeah, it would.
I think it really depends on what you believe about consciousness.
That's true.
If it's just information,
Mm-hmm.
data that can be copied and pasted,
Yeah.
then maybe uploading wouldn't be so crazy.
Okay.
But if consciousness is more than that,
Yeah.
if it's connected to our bodies, to our experiences in the world, then it becomes a much bigger question.
It does. It's amazing how mind-boggling this whole topic is.
It is.
We're talking about what makes us human, the mystery of existence.
And we still don't have all the answers.
It's both exciting and kind of humbling to realize how much we still don't know.
Absolutely. But that's what makes it so fascinating, right?
It does, this exploration of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's like a journey we're all on together.
Whether we realize it or not.
Every thought we have, every experience.
Adds to our understanding.
Exactly. So to everyone listening,
Keep exploring. Keep asking those questions.
don't be afraid to get a little mind blown.
The world of consciousness is vast.
Yeah.
And there's always something new to discover.
Who knows, maybe someday we'll finally understand what it really means to be conscious.
To experience the world.
To exist.
Maybe.
But until then, keep learning and enjoy the ride.
Exactly.